Hello bead friends, we're back with a new tutorial. Today we will learn how to make the earrings and the bracelet that go with our Bloom necklace from our previous tutorial. So it will be really quick. If you haven't looked at our previous tutorial for the necklace, I suggest you look at it before looking at this tutorial, because I will only explain briefly how to make the small variations that come with making the earrings and the bracelet versus the necklace. So if you want to really learn how to make the flowers for the necklace, have a look at the previous tutorial. The materials you will need for today's tutorial are round nose pliers for rounding off your wire, flat nose plier. I'm using mine which is curved. If you have it straight, it's fine. The important part that it's flat and ungrooved in the inside so that it doesn't ruin your wire. And then you will need a side cutter to cut your thread. Then you will need wire in 26 gauge width. I'm using copper because you need to use the same color of the chain that you will be using. This is a ball chain that we sell in our shop. Then you will need 7 metal size 4mm beads. You will need 4 for the earrings and 3 for the bracelet. We'll be making both in the tutorial. For the earrings, you'll also need a pair of ear findings. And instead for the bracelet, you'll need a clasp. Remember, you'll need 2 thin jump rings that will have to be able to go through our chain, which is really, really thin. Then you will need, for the earrings, you will need 24 of our flat faceted round half crystals. I'm using this dark green for today, size 3 × 4mm. And for the bracelet, you will need 18 of these because the bracelet has 3 flowers, 6 for each flower, and the earrings have 4 flowers. Start off making the bracelet. As you can see, my bracelet has a shorter ball chain between the flowers than the necklace. So this is the necklace version on top that I've put, and under the bracelet version. So I've actually cut off a bit of the chain between each ball chain so that I've shortened it. This way, when we make a bracelet which is shorter than the necklace, you are able to have 3 flowers versus the 2 that you would have using the length that we're using of chain for the necklaces. So this is a necessary step, and it's one of the small variations you will find between the necklace and the bracelet. So first to things off, let's cut off the chains that you will need. So we need 1 ball with on each side 9 chains. So we have to count the chains, 3, 6, and 9, and we cut off here with our side cutters. So this is the first one. Then we have to count another 9 on the other side. 6, 9. Keep the place with your fingers and cut with the other hand. And here you go. We have the shortened chain on both sides, and this is one piece that we'll need for the bracelet. So we'll need actually 4 pieces like this, so cut 4 pieces identical to the first one, so another 3. Next, start cutting off 4 inches for your flowers. Round off, creating a curve in your piece of wire, and put on the wire 6 of your beads. We'll be making the flowers for the bracelet exactly how we were making them for the necklace, so this doesn't change at all. So I'll be making them pretty quickly here, so if you want to have a look at our previous tutorial to look in depth at how we make them, have a look. So we put 6 beads on, cross the 2 ends, hold them in a circle, the beads, and twist off the ends so that we stop the beads in place. And then we take one end and have it go through the circle of beads we've just made, whereas the other one remains crossing on the other side. Pull on the wires if you want to tighten up the circle before we go on. There you go. And then we take one of the metal beads of the same color of our chain and wire, put it through for the center of our flower. There you go. We take this end of the wire on which we've just placed the metal bead and have it go around the circle and pop out between our faceted rounds. You see how we're in the center exactly. So we divide the third and fourth bead of this circle. Help the metal go through to round off and secure tightly around the circle of beads. You don't want any wire showing, so you'll need to make a bit of force. There you go. Then we make one of the loops on this side using still this end of the wire. Make a loop around. I'm using my round nose pliers. There you go. Take one end of the chain that we've already pre-cut. Have it go through. It has to be the last chain, the 9th one on one side of the ball. Keep the loop from coming undone and wrap the thread around itself, right under the loop you just made. You do 1.5 loops around it, and then you cut off the excess wire coming off it. There you go. Now, if you have a sharp end like I do, you take your flat pliers and you flatten it out on itself so that it doesn't bug you when you're wearing your bracelet. Now we have to finish off this end of the flower. So first things first, let's make sure that our wires are well crisscrossed. So you have to make a 45-degree angle bend to the wires so that it keeps in place. You see how here we twisted them around. And then after you've done that, you can make the loop again with your round nose pliers. Take another chain that you've pre-prepared and have the first chain of the 9 go through your wire. See how I took the 8th, so I have to actually take the 9th. It's pretty tricky because the chain is really, really thin, as I was saying. And you need to do it like this because since the chain is so small, the loops of the chain are actually closed. So you can't put it through unless you do it like this. 1.5 loops around the loop. Cut off the excess wire. Get rid of the cutting thread. And this is your first piece of the bracelet. Now we'll have to repeat this another 2 times. So we'll make a second flower that will attach firstly to this chain where the first flower is already on the other side. And then you keep going. So you're creating a chain like we were doing with the necklace. The only difference is that you actually have a shorter chain on each side of this free ball chain. So go ahead and do that and I'll see you after. I've added the other 2 flowers to my bracelet. Now all it needs is a clasp. So take the small jump ring and with your pliers, one on each side and the opening on top, keep the round plier firm and just push with the flat one so that you open it up as this way. And then have the chain go through the jump ring. There you go. Have the chain go through. Put the clasp on your jump ring as well. Now this jump ring needs to be opened a bit more. Yeah, there we go. And then have the clasp go on it. Then with your pliers, go back and close up your jump ring. Can you see that there's a small space still left and the two ends don't properly meet? So to make them meet, we, with our flat nose plier, take both ends of this jump ring, and with not a lot of force, because it's more a question of precision than force, push the two ends together to make them meet. There you go. You have to be careful because otherwise you can get yourself hurt here. And then we do the same thing on the other side. So I'd opened my jump ring already. Have it go through the last chain. Okay, put the other jump ring inside and close it back up. Now again, I have my small space, so I have to fix that, otherwise I might lose my bracelet. So again, with my flat plier, get the two ends to meet. Here, there you go. Still a bit of space, so we push it a bit more. Yeah, now we're set. And that's the bracelet that's made. Let's create our earrings. I've made already the first one. Now let's do the second one. So first things first, you will need 2 pieces of chain, exactly like the ones you've used for your bracelet. So with the shorter chain on each side of 9 chains. So pre-cut those, and then we can start doing our flowers. Now, the flowers is what changes in the earrings in respect to the bracelet and the necklace. So I've prepared my flower with the 6 beads and I've twisted the ends just like before. So for now, the flower is made exactly like before. I'll put my center bead on, and then again, I'll have the end that keeps the bead in place go around this circle of beads, and I'll pull it through like before. So this is all the same. Now, this is where it changes, and the 2 flowers that are on the earring are actually different from each other. So we'll have to be making 2 different ones. First off, let's do the one on top. So first we will make a loop on this end, like we were doing before. So a loop. Let's not close it up because we have to pass the chain inside. And then keep it still and close the loop on this end. So this end is like all other ends on bracelets and necklaces, nothing different. And we cut off the thread. Too little to cut. Get rid of that sharp edge, all like before. Now this is where it changes. On this end of the flower, we're making the top one, remember. Take our round pliers, make the loop. There you go. And instead of going and attaching a chain, we're attaching the earring end. Because in this case, the earring has a closed loop, just like the chains. So we need to attach it this way, otherwise we're not going to be able to put it on. Then I'll close my loop. And cut off this end. Now, when you take your earring and you have it sit, keeping your ear as if you had it on your ear, you can see how this loop is not exactly sitting comfortably on the side, so we want to switch it a bit because we want them to crisscross. This way the flower is facing forward. Then the second flower. Again, I had prepared it in advance. We're still in the same step we were last time, so I have to add the center bead. And we're doing now the bottom flower, which is slightly different. So first off, we get this end where I've attached the middle bead, and I'll have it go through, pull through, have it go around like we always do. Nice and tightly. Now, instead of doing the loop, since there is no loop at the bottom of this flower, we're going to get the wire and have it go through a second time to finish off this end and secure all the work on this end of the wire. There you go. Nice and tight. We don't want to see it too much. And then we cut off simply. And again, if there is a sharp end, we squish it. And now, for the very end, we make a loop on the top of the flower, like before. And for the earrings, you will have it go through the bottom end of your chain so that it attaches and you have your earring. But you could simply make a loop, and by making only one loop on one end of the flower, you'd have a pendant. So that's another idea. Or you could also use this pendant to make shorter earrings, maybe for a little girl. So that's another idea as well. And those are your earrings done. That's all for today, bead friends. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions, and I always enjoy your comments. Also, remember to sign up to the channel to be always up to date on all the tutorials. You can find the kits for the earrings and bracelets and for the necklace on our site, which is www.happybead.it. You can also follow us on social media to be always up to date. I usually post different colors, different ideas stemming off from all our tutorials or little beading tips that might be useful. And on social media, you can find us as Happy Bead Milano on Instagram. And on Facebook, you can find us as Happy Bead La Fabbrica delle Perline. Until next time, take care and thank you.